Welcome everybody. In this series we will be looking at Selenium WebdriverJS. Selenium WebdriverJS is a browser automation library. Now, this library is implemented in different programming languages such as Ruby, Python, PHP, C#, etc., etc. We're going to be looking at the JavaScript bindings for this library. The reason being that if you want to find help using Selenium WebDriver, you will find a ton of resources using Java. And then you might find some using C# and then libraries implemented in Ruby and Python. What I'd like to do is make a series on using JavaScript because there are so few resources out there. And to be honest, if you work in modern web apps, you're probably going to be using JavaScript these days. And if you're using JavaScript and you want to conduct automated tests on your app, it would be great to implement those tests in the same language as the app you're testing. And that's why at my job, for example, where I work at a startup, I use WebdriverJS to write acceptance tests for our app. Now, this is the official GitHub repo for Selenium, and if you just follow the link here, you'll be able to navigate to the WebdriverJS page, and there you get the quick start guide. So I suggest that you actually look at the documentation here. Better even is to click on the link that's right here, and it'll open this, and there you get a more in detail, in-depth overview of everything. However, we're going to be installing everything right here, right now. So I'm going to make a directory. Actually, let me make sure I'm on my desktop. I'm going to make a directory, WebDriver tut. All right, cool. And from here, we can install npm install Selenium WebDriver. And I want to, and what I forgot to do actually, I'm going to start a new project here, an npm project. So name, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to do all this right now. This is okay. All right. And now npm install Selenium WebDriver. Now, if this is the first time you're installing Selenium WebDriver, I recommend installing it globally. And you know what? Let's do it right now. I already have it installed, but since I think that was a while ago, maybe there's a new version out. So when you install it globally, sudo npm install g Selenium WebDriver. Then you're going to enter your password. And it's installing. It's downloading. It's going to take a little while. But if you don't have it installed, if you already have it installed globally, then I would just recommend installing it locally using save dev. It depends on your preference and what your needs are. So now we have Selenium WebDriver installed. But in order to use Selenium WebDriver with a specific browser, we're going to need these drivers right here. So as explained here, you will need to download additional components to work with each of the major browsers. The browsers for the following here are all standalone executables that should be placed in your system path. All right. Selenium used to ship automatically with Firefox, but as of Firefox 47 and plus, that is no longer the case. You need to install these yourself. Luckily, it's pretty easy with npm. So again, I'm going to do sudo npm install g Chrome driver, because we will be using Chrome driver, well, Google Chrome browser mostly. All right. Cool, that installed. And then let's also install sudo npm g gecko driver, and that's for Firefox. Oh, I forgot to write install. Sudo npm install g gecko driver. Yep, all right. So now we should be able to, I'm going to open the project in my Atom editor, since we're already in the WebDriver tutorial folder. And it should be opening, yep. If it's running a little slow, it's because I'm running this operating system in a virtual machine. I'm actually using a Windows laptop, spinning up this macOS Sierra virtual machine, and recording and writing as I film this tutorial. So sometimes it might run a little slow. Like right now, Atom is acting a little crazy, but okay. So all right. So right now, since we did npm init, etc., we have our npm package here. And the reason I would do that is if I wanted to save Chrome driver and Selenium as dependencies, but we don't really need to, so actually whatever. All right. So from here, I think I will make a file, library.js. Cool. And the reason I'm doing library.js is because in this series, I want to test the following app. There it is. It's a little slow to load. All right, this is the app I want to test, and we're gonna go through all the different WebDriver commands by running them against this app. And this app is pretty simple. I think it's a good app because it starts out simple, but then there are some little UI elements, and there are enough UI elements to try out most of the important features of WebDriver. It's a slow loading app apparently, which is also very important because it's going to introduce us to a very important topic in WebDriver, and that's the issue of waits. When you look for an element and WebDriver tries to find it immediately, and it's not there because your app is loading slowly, and so then you have to tell it how, when, and how to wait for the proper element to load before throwing an error. So here in this app, it's a library app. You have all these libraries listed, and you can edit each library. You can delete them, and this is functionality that we're going to want to check using WebdriverJS. You can add new, and then you can filter alphabetically. Then you have authors, and you have books. I think this is a cool app to test, and this app is from the yoember.com tutorial. And this tutorial will basically teach you how to build an Ember app, and it'll teach you how to build that library app that we just checked out. So, all right. Now, what I want to do is, so to start, we're just going to basically, we're gonna start very simple, and then we're gonna progressively make our tests more elaborate, and eventually we're going to try and build an entire test automation framework for this app. We're going to use a page object model. We're going to try to have this running on Sauce Labs. We're gonna use Faker.js to use fake data in our tests, so that we can try various inputs, user inputs, and make sure that they all work, etc. But for now, since we just installed this, let's check that this works. So we're going to require the packages we just installed. Selenium WebDriver. Now, one thing you're going to have to do is include these two methods. By will equal WebDriver.by, and then until will equal WebDriver.until. Okay, let me correct these typos and stuff. All right, and then we're gonna have to, once you require these, this is basically all you need to require. Once you have WebDriver installed and Chrome Driver installed, this is all you need to require to start a test. Eventually, you're gonna want to add more packages and require more things for more elaborate tests. But just to get started, this is enough. This is all you need. Now, once you've required all these, you're gonna have to build a new driver. Basically, it's almost like building a new browser. So you do this, and this is the convention that you'll see everywhere. Let's do var driver equals, and now you're gonna build a new WebDriver instance. WebDriver builder for browser Chrome, and then you tell it build. Boom, and that's literally it. And every time you run a command now, you're gonna have to call You're gonna have to call this browser that you built, and therefore now we want to just navigate to the library app that I just showed you guys. So driver get. This is just to test that everything's working. And actually, we won't need to do that. I'll just go to google.com. Make it simple. Boom. And now we can save it. Now, since this is the JavaScript web bindings for WebDriver, this works with Node, and you can run it directly from Node. And all you need to do once you're in the right directory is to run the file library.js and run it. And as you see, it spins up a Chrome browser, and it goes to google.com, which redirects you to this path. So it seems like everything works. We can try another one. Let's go to Facebook, save. Let me quit Chrome. All right. Let me just do this to make sure that it quits, and then driver, quit, save. And then again. And it's going to Facebook. Awesome. And once it loads, it'll wait for it to load, and then it'll quit. So clearly everything works. We're ready to go. And in the next video, we'll talk about the first step in testing an app, and that's finding the elements that you want to interact with. So see you guys in the next video.